Hello my bunnies, it's Tiki's Trinkets here, and today I have another polymer clay tutorial for you. Today we are making Battleblock's Theater Cat. Battleblock Theater's cat. He is a cat character, a feline character from a game called Battleblock Theater. Battleblock is one word, theater separate. And he is one of the villains in the game, and it is a game that's available to download as of right now on Steam, where you can download and play as somebody searching for your friends, and you're running through a theater, or, going on an adventure through a theater, where these dastardly felines are trying to stop you from finding your friends. It seems like a pretty interesting game. I have not personally played it. This was a request by and they asked me to make this particular character from the game, and I'm all over the place. I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial very much. After this video, this will be the last request video I do for a while. I'm going to get back to my roots and try to do, just in time for Christmas, another Christmassy kind of tutorial. Either a wolf, a dragon, or a bunny, something Christmassy animal kind of thing. But you guys will just have to wait and see what I make. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this tutorial. And to the person that requested this, I hope you also very much enjoy this. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys there. Bye-bye, my bunnies. Oh, wait. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye-bye, my bunnies.
For this tutorial, you're going to need Sculpey 3 black, white, gray, just orange, chocolate brown, and gold. Yeah, and then whatever kind of base you want if you want a base. First, we're going to start with the chocolate brown color, and we're going to pre-roll all the balls that we need, which I'll show you a picture of that right here. Then we're going to start with the largest ball up at the top, the one I'm pointing at right here. And you're going to want to roll that into a very thick, fat teardrop shape. So it'll look something like this. Try to keep it as round as possible on one end. After that, you're going to grab it, pick it up, and press it against your work surface. That way it'll be flat on the bottom side. Then tip it on its side, and where the roundest part is, put it in the palm of your hand and press down gently. When you get done, it should be round on the top but kind of flat on the bottom. Then lay it on the flat side on your desk and cut it about 50-50%, cut half of it off. The pointed part you can put back in the pack. We're just going to use the rounded bit. Then I went on ahead and outlined where the white part of his shirt's going to go and the zipper part of his pants. Next we're going to make his belt, so we're going to use this elongated one. That's why I made it long, so I can remember this is the belt piece. Then you're going to roll it out nice and thin. Roll it out as thin as possible. Then I'm going to cut it into the belt shape. I use a yang blade. I use a long blade to cut out the rectangular shape because it's a lot faster and easier, but do it however you like. Then I just wrapped it around the body, and if there's any excess, just cut that right off on the back. Next, this is going to get repetitive. We're going to do these 4 balls down here, one by one. And what you're going to do is you're going to cut them using your X-Acto blade into a little square shape, and then cut whatever little pockets need to be on the front of them. Like with this one, I used the rounded tool to make a rounded pocket. And then you're just going to stick it onto the belt of the pants, like so. Using a reference photo, I knew what pockets and how many I needed to make. So we're going to do the same thing over and over. The next ball, we're also going to cut into a rectangle. And voila. And then when you put this one on the pants, you need to leave a little bit of space for the belt buckle that he has in the front. So it should look like this. Then after that, guess what we're doing? We're going to do it again. And it's going to be this little ball right here. And we're going to make another little tiny square. And then I do a little triangular shape at the top of this one. Again, to mimic the pockets that he has on his pants, on the little pouches. Then I put it on right after the other one. And then the last one's going to be a little bit different. This one right here is going to be a walkie-talkie. So when you cut it into a square shape, leave a little bit or pinch a little bit at the top to make an antenna. And then I did 3 lines and polka dots to make it look like a walkie-talkie. And then this one kind of goes on the back of his pants. Boy, I bet you're tired of making little brown squares now, aren't you? I was by the time I got done with that. Next, we're going to use this ball right here. Press it down using your thumb against your work surface so it'll be kind of concave and dipped in on the top, but it'll still look like a little flat round disc. It should look something like this. Then this is his hat. Then to make the top part of his hat that's angled, I just rolled my X-Acto blade around the top to give it a different depth of texture right there. It's hard to explain, but just roll it around the top of it. Next, we're moving on to the Sculpey 3 just orange color. And we're going to roll out the balls that we need, but also add 2 more small orange ones. You'll see that I add that later. I made an oopsie. I do that a lot. Then roll out a very fat log kind of shape. This is going to be the upper half of his body, so make sure it's the same size as the lower half. Then using the palm of your hand, press it down, and it should look something like this. Then to make it connect to the lower half, you're going to want to cut it off flat at the bottom, like so. And then you can just go ahead and stick this bit to the top of him. This actually was a little bit big, so later on I cut a little extra off, so make sure it's not too big. Use a reference photo for proportions and reference. That's all I gotta say. Then I just indented the top of his head and pinched the little pieces on the side to make ears. Very easy. Then I went on ahead and stuck his hat on, like so. And if it doesn't fit, just use your X-Acto blade and really get in there. Now the next 2 balls that were orange, I'm just going to flatten them out and pinch them into little oval kind of shapes. Here you can see me right here pinching it between my fingers to make the oval shapes. I cannot talk tonight. I'm sorry. I guess I'm like drunk or something. Then I just stuck it on the bottom of his body. Once you do that, he should look something like this. Looking adorable. And all the other balls that we had, which I'm going to show you right here, including the 2 extra oranges, we're going to put to the side and we'll come back to this in a little while. But now we're going to go on to the elephant gray color right here. And you're going to take one itty bitty little tiny ball out that's about 1/8 of an inch in diameter, as you can see here. Well, I don't know if that's a 1/16 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch. Either way. And then roll it out flat. Make it as flat as possible. And then cut this into a small rectangle. This is going to be his belt buckle. And then to give it a little texture in the middle, I just took the back end of this curved blade and just poked it in there so it had the little line in the belt. And once I did that, I just went on ahead and stuck it to the belt. Perfect. Now we're done with the gray, and we're going on to the gold color that I got out earlier. The gold is Primo brand. I just prefer the texture of it. It's nice and soft. Then you're going to pull out a ball that's about the same size as the other one. Actually, I did make this one a little bit smaller, so make it a little bit smaller, and then flatten it out. And once you flatten it out, do the same thing you did with the top of the head to make the cat ears, but do it with a slightly smaller thing, like a pencil or something, to just indent it. And then pinch the little ears, and then just stick this on the hat. If you have to, you can glue it on the hat. Next, we're actually going to move on to the white color clay that we had. And we're going to pre-roll all the balls we need, which you can see right here. And we're going to start with the largest one up at the top, which I'm pointing at right here. And then you're going to want to roll this out into a very long flat shape. Kind of pull it with your finger as you're rolling it out to give it this cylindrical shape. And then just cut off the excess that you don't need. I'm sorry these photos are so blurry. Put the excess back in the pack and use a little round piece as his little face. Next, we're going to move on to the other slightly big ball that we had at the bottom of the screen. And you're going to want to roll this out nice and flat and then cut it. Well, I cut it into a triangular shape, but it actually, I looked back at it later and it's more of a round shape. And as you can see here, I cut it into more of a round shape. And then I stuck it on the body. All the excess, you can go ahead and put the rest of that back in the pack. Now the other 2 white balls, I put them in the middle of the balls I already had, and we're going to go back to this. The brown ones up at the top, you're going to roll into teardrop shapes. And then you're going to cut them off, and you're only going to keep the little triangle pieces right there. The other 2 pieces you can put back in the pack. Next, I'm going to go ahead and go on to the white balls. Just press them down flat with the back of the X-Acto blade. And then you want to stick them onto the brown pieces and just kind of roll them back and forth in your fingers to make them blend together a little, but not too much. The 2 orange balls right here, you're going to roll them out in the very thin, long teardrop shapes. And then these are going to be his little paws. So you're going to cut off the tops and just keep the rounded pieces. The other pieces you can put back in the pack. Then where it's flat, just go ahead and stick it onto the white pieces. And these are his little arms, so just position them on the body and pose them however you like. This is the pose I went with, one kind of holding the pouch, the other one kind of down on the side. Then using my X-Acto blade, I indented and gave him little tootsie finger things. I did the same thing with his feet. And now we're going on to these last 3 brown balls. This is going to be his bow tie. So the 2 balls, you're going to want to roll those into very small teardrop shapes, like this. After you've done that, you're going to want to press both sides down with your index finger so they'll be kind of round on the top, but flat on the bottom. Excuse me. Once you've done that, you want to cut the pointy bits off, put it back in the pack, the pieces you don't need, the little pointy bits. Keep the rounded pieces. Then put the round ball that you had left in between those pieces to make the bow tie shape. Then just stick it on the body on the top white part of his little collar. As you can see, I did 2 little lines on the white piece underneath before I did that, just because that's how his shirt looks. Next, we're going to go back to the black for just a moment, and we're going to make his mouth. So you just need a very, very small ball of black clay, actually smaller than that, and just roll it out into a little cylinder, and just cut it, the little cylinder, and just put it on his face. For his eyes, I didn't use the typical size I normally do because he has small eyes. I used 4 millimeters instead of the 6 millimeters because he has itty bitty little eyes. Next, I'm going to go ahead and clean him with some rubbing alcohol because he's dirty. Once you do that, he should look squeaky clean. And then you can go ahead and take his eyes out. That sounds brutal. Use the X-Acto blade to make it easier, and then you're ready to bake it. While that's baking, I went on ahead and grabbed the pencil and drew on like a prison cage design for the base, and I used the square shape because it's Battleblock theater cat. You see what I'm going for? Then I'm going to paint it using black and brown acrylic paint and a small paintbrush and a big one. First I painted on the black parts, like the empty space in between the bars. Then I got the brown paint out and I just painted around the base and in between the bars. And it should look like this once you're done. Or you can do anything you want, it's up to you, or you don't even have to use a base if you don't want to. Then once he's out of the oven and cooled off completely, I use Loctite super glue to glue in the eyes. And then after that's dry, I went on ahead and the base is dry, I use E6000 to glue him to the base. Then I use polyacrylic floor varnish to glaze him up. I use at least 2 coats, bare minimum 2 coats of glaze. And once you get done, he should look something like this, and then you're done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and stay tuned for next week's Christmas tutorial. Bye-bye, my bunnies!